Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. It's good to see you again. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. We've got Peter Keene in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and Jim Daniels in Memphis, Tennessee. Guys, how are you? Peter, what's going on there in Florida?
Still beautiful, sunny Florida. Packed my bags, ready to head to Detroit, Rock City for the Grand Am race, and hopefully that's going to be a great weekend.
How about you, Jim?
Same thing. I'm going to try to hunt down Peter, and I think we got some adult beverages that we're behind on, and we're going to watch some great racing in those walls at Belle Isle.
You're behind on your adult beverages. That's a great announcement here on the Racing Insiders. Jim Daniels there in Memphis, Tennessee. Coming up on the show today, we've got headlines that you're going to be interested in. We've got one driver, Ryan Ellis, who's switching teams, new factory support there, and we've got another driver in Global Rallycross, Pat Moro, who is bringing a new manufacturer into his program in Global Rallycross. We're also going to talk about something that Pat Moro left behind, Rally America at STPR, Susquehannock Trail Performance Rally, and a little bit on the Belle Isle race in Grand Am. Now, a lot on this show. Let's get right to it. Ryan Ellis, welcome to the Racing Insiders. You have some news, full of news today. What's your news about the team you're going to?
I'm really proud to announce that I'm going to be joining CA Sport. That's a Skullcandy Nissan team in ST and Grand Am Continental Tire Series. I've been running with iMoto all year and had a great time with everybody involved in that program, but I'm really excited to be joining the new Nissan team.
You even won a race with iMoto at Daytona at the beginning of the year. Why'd leave a successful program?
Well, we didn't actually win at Daytona. We got pole. We got really close to winning. We had a mechanical failure. But with Mark Pombo coming back, he wanted to drive with Matt, and that's very understanding. Matt and I had an agreement at the beginning of the year where when Mark came back, we were going to kind of feel out where we were at in the points, and we really thought that Matt and I would be probably in the top 2 or 3 in points at this point in the season when Mark was ready to come back. But unfortunately, some bad luck has kind of been upon us all year, and we haven't gotten the finishes we really hoped for. So when Mark wanted to come back, I really wanted to find a finishing position at another team, and Nissan stepped up and they really wanted me, and I really wanted to join them, so I'm really excited to be with them now.
It's not bad to be with the factory program. Jim Daniels, you've been with the factory program.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Mark come back after that horrific accident at Road America, Ryan. You and I, in the full air of disclosure, you and I share the same agency and P1 group with Eric Birch. And I was talking with Eric, and he says that we don't have a co-driver in that car yet. Give us some inside information about what you would prefer to have as your teammate and what prospects you may have as your teammate in that new car.
As of right now, I'm not quite sure who we're going to have in the car with me. But like qualities you'd want in a starting driver, you definitely want someone who is safe. They'll get the car to you in the top 5, top 10. It really doesn't matter where you get the car as long as the car is all in one piece. And so you just want someone who's got level-headed. They're not going to let the emotions of the sport get to them, and they're not going to be, fighting for the lead with like 2 laps into the race and risk damaging a car.
Yeah, Peter.
Well, I know the Nissan team's had a little bit of success winning at Daytona this year, and so they've showed some speed, but I know it's also under development. The car looked a little rough in Turn 5 at Atlanta, so have you had a chance to sit in the car yet? I mean, have you gotten to drive it? I know it's under development, but they are fast and they are, well-prepared looking cars.
No, not at all, actually. I was just talking to another Continental Tire driver, Derek Jones, about it, who actually was running at Road Atlanta, and never have gotten behind the wheel of the Nissan, and I still haven't even seen the inside of it, but I just know that they're really well-prepared cars, and Derek was really raving about how well the team has worked together and how well that Vesco's actually built the cars himself and set them up, and he says it's a great car, great team, and I'm going to love it. So I'm really excited to actually get in the car, sit in it, meet everybody in the team, and get working on it.
And I also know that, there seems to be a renewed interest at Nissan in pro racing, so it seems like you're in a really good position.
Yeah, I think it's every driver's goal to be behind a factory program, and right now it seems like that's where I'm at, and I'm really excited to work with Nissan, a team and a manufacturer that I've never worked with before.
Ryan Ellis, let me get in here before we get out of here. There's some interesting things that are happening in sports car racing right now. Next year, there might be some jobs going away, and some of those drivers that have been in the ALMS or the Grand Am Rolex, they might tumble down into Continental Challenge. Have you been thinking about that for your career? You're reaching some important places in your career right now.
I've definitely been thinking about it, and that merger was huge for drivers like myself that aren't actively involved in the Rolex series or the ALMS series right now. I think it'll open up some positions for us.
You said it would open up some seats. That's the contrary to what people are saying, that seats are going to go away. You're finding that's not the case?
I think there's a lot of drivers that run in the ALMS series and Rolex series. So when you combine the series, they obviously can't drive both cars at the same time. So I'm hoping, I don't know, I guess I'm a little bit of an optimist, but I'm hoping that it actually opens up seats, where some people are saying it's going to go away. I think you'll find drivers like Billy Oberlin or people that have run in both series that can't afford, or they obviously can't drive both cars at once. So I think you'll see some seats open up.
Ryan Ellis going to Nissan Skull Candy Continental Challenge, Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge. That's the official name, ST category. Ryan, congratulations.
Thank you very much, guys.
That's the Ryan Ellis Racing Insiders. We've got more news, headlines coming up on the Racing Insiders this week. We've got a rallycross driver who's bringing new factory support into global rallycross. That's next, the Racing Insiders, MAVTV. We'll be right back.
Let us know what you think about what the Racing Insiders have to say. Tell us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. We've got Peter Keene in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and Jim Daniels in Memphis, Tennessee. Hope you like the speed beats. That's an incredible thing that's done by our editor. Hope you like it. We got on the phone with us now Pat Moro, 2010 Super Production Champion, U.S. Rally Champion. He's got a new announcement to make. He's been in global rallycross for a couple of years, and now he's bringing a new factory, GM, into the program with him. Pat, how'd you pull that off?
Well, it was a little bit of good luck. You know, we've been a long-time supporter of Chevrolet, and, you know, we made the call to Chevrolet and said, look, you know, we'd like to get involved with the Chevy Sonic program. They came down, saw what we had in mind, and, you know, one thing led to another, and next thing you know, we're building 2 Chevy Sonics for the GRC Rallycross Series.
We're getting a lot of interest that people are wondering what you've been doing. You were in Global Rallycross last year. Chevrolet came to you, or you came to them? How did it all happen? Did it happen easily, organically? What happened?
You know, I pretty much beat their door down, hung outside their house, waited in their bushes, you know, roped them into it, and then you know, we've been talking with Chevrolet for quite a long time. And I think the Chevrolet, you know, took a good look at a lot of different teams and a lot of different people, and then, you know, eventually came back to us, and, you know, they came down and saw, you know, what we were doing and what we were about, and, you know, once they made the visit, everything else seemed to go pretty smooth.
That's good for you. Peter, get in there. You're the engineer in a group here.
Well, just explain a little bit more about the platform. I know GM does a great job. I mean, I've had a lot of experience with John Heinrici, and, you know, especially working with him lately with the B-Spec Sonic program, and they are right down to every nut and bolt, so that I know GM is very detailed. Explain a little bit about the chassis that you're going to run. I know it's a Sonic platform and probably turbocharged, but give us a rundown of the specifications.
The car is a little bit different than the V-Spec car. It's actually drastically different than the V-Spec car. Difference will be a 2-liter motor, turbocharged, and it'll be all-wheel drive. So we're taking a normally front-wheel drive car. It's a transverse motor. We're turning the motor longitudinal, and then, you know, obviously putting a 4-wheel drive platform in it.
Jim Daniels, get in there.
Pat, you know, I'm always curious when I hear the words factory supported, being involved with a lot of programs myself over the years. I think our fans would really like to hear a little bit more details from a rally side of racing of what that might mean. What stage of factory supported are you at, and are you going to be calling yourself the factory team in this series?
You know, that's still in discussions, you know, what the actual team name will be there. We're still open for a title sponsor. So I would like to, call us his factory supported team. Chevrolet has offered up, all the engineering that we want from them. They are definitely taking care of the motor program. We're working back and forth. We just had a meeting today with their engineers and their fabricators on the motor side.
Yeah, so it sounds like that they're doing the engine program totally. So you're not doing any of the engine stuff in-house. You're going to be delivered units already off the dyno and ready to go. Programming, tuning, and all that stuff is going to be GM. Does that mean they're going to have a GM support person, engine person at the track with the car, at the at the events with the car?
Yes, they are going to have some support. They're going to train two of our technicians to look after the engines as well. But they've definitely offered up all of that.
Before we get out of here, Pat Moro is not going to tell you, he's a little too shy to say that there's a little cottage industry of racing in Central Ohio where his shops are located. IndyCar and Grand Am Rolex cars are there. They're being built behind closed doors. He's getting help from some of those engineers and from the Ohio State University School of Engineering that's working with him to make sure that happens. Pat, congratulations on a great program. Good luck. Do you have any idea quickly when you're going to be on the track?
That's still, I'm not allowed to let that out yet, so I kind of have to hold back on that one, but we'll be testing at the middle of next month for sure.
I'm going to gamble and say this doesn't come from him, but I'm going to gamble and say it's going to happen here in Los Angeles at the X Games round of Global Rallycross here in Los Angeles. That's just my speculation. Pat, it's good to talk to you again. Congratulations on a great program.
Thank you, Bill. It's good to talk to you, and thanks, Peter, and thanks, Jim.
We'll be right back. This is the Racing Insiders on MAVTV. You'll get an idea of what we're thinking about on a couple of things coming up this weekend in the Rally America program and in Grand Am. We'll be right back right after this.
This segment of the Racing Insiders was brought to you by GoRacingTV.com. For racers, by racers.
Welcome back. This is the Racing Insiders on MAVTV. We've got a couple of topics we want to talk about, especially about Rally America, the Susquehannock Trail Rally. It's coming up this weekend in Pennsylvania, STPR for short. Great event, fourth event on the calendar. A little inside information from Antoine Lestage, third in the points, won Snowdrift at the beginning of the year. He's not going to be there as a competitor. He's going to be there just to get his stage notes up to speed, keep them up to speed. He's going to not run in the event. Did you guys find anything else about it? I've got a lot on this. Did you guys find anything else about Rally America, STPR?
So I found out from some fan perspectives what needs to happen. This is one of the greatest events in road rally, in rally racing, and I wish I could make it. But here's the two things that is a common thread, and I think you could find some of these links to these different websites at our websites, theracinginsiders.com. If you're a fan and you're going, you only got 3 designated areas, and I wouldn't suggest wandering away from those posted areas. And don't bring an ice chest full of beer. That's a no-no, and they are fining and giving people citations. But do bring 3 or 4 bottles of bug spray and some wet wipes for the mud that's going to be slinging. It should be a great show, Peter.
But don't drink the bug spray. Is that what you're saying, Jim?
Exactly.
Well, hey, maybe I inferred that. Some people do that in other forums, but no, I wouldn't recommend it.
Exactly. And Jim, the only thing I have to add is I guess me and you won't be there.
That's not a place you want to be where there's no alcoholic beverages being consumed. That's what the Racing Insiders know about STPR this weekend. It is going to be a good event. David Higgins at the Subaru team, Subaru Rally Team USA, is the points leader. A big, huge lead in the championship. He's won the last 2 rounds. Let's go to Detroit right now with where the Grand Am is going to be this weekend. It's the major event in the U.S. Sports Car Series. How about that, Peter?
Well, I mean, I can tell you everybody's prepared and trying to win Detroit because that's where all the manufacturers are, and that's what you'll hear everywhere. But to me, the biggest change is the change in the racetrack. It's they've lengthened I now have a second straightaway. and essentially it's going to give you another passing zone, and I think it's going to make it better racing. So, I mean, to me, the big inside story is the change in the racetrack. I think it just, gives it one more place that you can overtake. Always at Detroit, traffic's the big thing. We got tangled up in a GT car last year and kind of cost us the race. So it's, avoid traffic, and hopefully this makes it better with another passing zone.
Any special plans that Spirit of Daytona has for Detroit?
Well, it's a downforce track, so it's always good for us. It's like a barber for us. So, we go with a bunch of downforce, and, we're usually good in that configuration, and, you bring it. I mean, obviously, Richard Westbrook was the fastest guy there last year, and I think we'll be the same this year. So that's our setup for Detroit. Turn Richard loose.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of different drivers to get some different perspectives. I was paddock near Tom Long here recently down at COTA, the driver of that 70 GTX car, or GX car, excuse me. And they had a disappointing at Road Atlanta with that oil filter catching a rock. They said they spent more time tweaking this car out for aero, downforce, as Peter mentioned, and for power, and nutting and bolting. Now, we all know what nutting and bolting in racing is. It's touching everything with 3 or 4 guys. But he said they've touched everything. They touched everything again, and then Sylvan, the team owner, has touched everything. Interesting tidbit, when I was down at COTA and I had the luxury and the privilege of interviewing Jack Baldwin, we was talking about some of these special events. Jack said that race when he was in Trans Am was one of the most significant events that he'd ever raced at, and that's still true today. This is a big race with lots of money on the line and lots of engineering pride on the line. These guys are really working hard to win that race. Bill?
Yeah, I can imagine that all the engineering offices in Detroit are, when they get together, a lot of bragging rights are there that my guy could outrun your guy, and that's one of the major things that the manufacturers have to look forward to.
Also, Bill, when I was down there and I was talking to some of the Ford engineers, there's a little bit of a stir in the World Challenge pits, and we talked about this in previous shows with those Fords just being off pace, and it appears to be that they may be a little bit off pace, but what was being echoed there was how important it was for the Fords and the Ford powered cars to do well at this Belle Isle race.
That is developing, and we will have more. That's something that'll be important. In fact, there may be some things that fall on the table there in Detroit. Are you kidding me? What's bumping around in our heads? You can't believe the conversations we've had before the show. Well, you'll hear a little bit of it right after this.
This segment was brought to you by the Sports Car Club of America.
Are you kidding me?
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders on MAVTV. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Peter Keene is in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Jim Daniels is in Memphis, Tennessee. This is the segment, Are You Kidding Me? You get a chance to hear what's going on in our minds, like, are you kidding me? The argument that we don't have any American drivers at Indy, a third of the field is American. The IndyCar champion is American. That argument's long dead. And if you don't like what's the cheer for in IndyCar, the American drivers there, try sports cars. Some of the best drivers in the world are sports car racers that are from America. Pat Long is a Porsche factory driver, the only out of 10. He's the only American on the squad. Scott Pruitt, a legendary driver in sports car racing. There's so many more. You should be cheering for them. Tommy Milner, who was in sports cars, and the Taylor brothers, Ricky and Jordan. People are standing in line to get them. I think Jordan's going to be at Le Mans this year with the Corvette team. That argument, there's no American drivers to cheer for anymore, that's dead. Find another one if you don't want to cheer for them. But find another one. There are American drivers that are winners to cheer for. That's my Are You Kidding Me? Peter, what about you?
Hey, Bill, my Are You Kidding Me is the Indianapolis 500. Probably the greatest race I've ever seen in a long time happen on Sunday this week. And, that's the best race I've seen at Indy for as long as I can remember anyway. My Are You Kidding Me about it is how can you finish under caution? That was going to be a duel. It was going to be, who got the run at the end to win. I mean, Tony Kanaan wins, which is the good guy. That's who everybody was cheering for. But still, my Are You Kidding Me is let's race to the end. Let's not have a caution and ride out the last 2 laps. Good for Tony, though.
Yeah, Peter, my Are You Kidding Me is James Sofronis, my pal of the World Challenge, keeps giving me these nuggets. Before I get to that, I want to say the track at COTA, they chopped it down from the Formula One track, put in what I would call a go-kart style section to tie the two tracks together and remove a portion. Problem is, it's too small for really any real race cars to get through there. So we had a Fiat high side, we had several cars break suspension, and my Are You Kidding Me is James Sofronis again gobbles up someone else's misfortune with Johnny O'Connell breaking that suspension, comes through in that Audi R8 for GMG and gets the win. Are you kidding me? This guy has the best racing luck on the planet this year, it seems. He's going to win a championship. Bill?
That's what's going on in our heads. Are you kidding me? You can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Let us know what you think. TheRacingInsiders.com is our website. Be in touch with us. Let us know. We've got some closing comments on the Racing Insiders coming up right after this. Come on back. Before we get out of here, let's get some closing thoughts from you, Peter. What's going on there in Florida?
Hey, Bill, I know Memorial Day's passed, but I just want to give a shout out to our troops. I really thank them for their service, and I think every American does. And, I guess my next step is to hop on a plane and head to Belle Isle. I get to go through Atlanta one more time.
Jim, what's going on in your world?
That's right. Speaking of Belle Isle, I think it's only the second time that the World Challenge has run with the Grand Dam group. So we're going to be able to see those Cadillacs, those Volvos, those Audis, and of course all of the standouts with that Mazda GX car and the litany of GT cars. Of course, Peter and the prototype cars. This is going to be some kind of a great race up at Belle Isle. Can't wait to hop on the plane and get up there.
Follow it this weekend, you at home. There's going to be a lot of racing going on, from the high horsepower Grand Am cars to World Challenge to Indy cars. There's going to be a lot going on in Detroit, and a lot at stake for a lot of these teams. That's the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Peter Keene is in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and Jim Daniels is in Memphis, Tennessee. The Racing Insiders on MAVTV. Let us know what you think. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Until next week, take care of each other, respect each other. Peace.